Hey guys, it's Austin, and this is the iPhone 8. The design was 100% leaked from Apple themselves in the HomePod firmware, along with a few other things that we'll be taking a look at. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So right off the bat, looking at the design, the first thing you can notice is that the front is almost all screen. And that's a good thing. iPhones in the past, like the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, have really weak screen to body ratios. Like take the iPhone 7 Plus for example, it has a 5.5 inch display, which seems pretty big, but other phones have bigger screens and smaller bodies. Like the Nexus 6 has a almost 6-inch display and it's still smaller than the iPhone 7 Plus. It's one of the biggest phones on the market. And so having the screen to body ratio be a lot bigger will allow you to have a lot bigger screen and a lot smaller body, which is always a good thing. The alleged size of the screen is 5.8 inches, which seems pretty big. It's bigger than the iPhone 7 Plus that we currently have. But since the screen to body ratio is so much bigger, the phone's only just a hair thicker or bigger than the iPhone 7, and it's a lot smaller than the iPhone 7 Plus. And there's a little bar at the top, which has your earpiece and your front-facing camera. But if you look closer, you can also see two more cameras or little sensors. And these are sensors for facial recognition, which is dubbed Face ID. And this was also leaked in the HomePod firmware. Now you're probably wondering, where's Touch ID on this phone, since there's no home button on the front of the phone? Well, it's not on the back of the phone, like some rumors said it might be. And so the only two other places that it could be is under the glass, which would be really cool. But I don't think Apple could have done it in time, just because the technology to allow fingerprint recognition through glass was just debuted a few months ago. Motorola was the first company to do it. And the iPhone 8 has obviously been in production for more than just a couple of months now. So it's probably too late for them to have implemented Touch ID under the glass. But if they somehow did it, that would be cool. But also the other place that they could put it is on the lock button. If you look at the model, the lock button is just a little bit bigger than on the other iPhones. So maybe they put Touch ID there. Or they could have just gotten rid of it altogether, which is what a lot of rumors seem to be pointing at, but I really hope that they didn't do it. Allegedly, facial recognition can be just as secure, if not more secure, than Touch ID fingerprint sensing, which we have now. But I'm not really buying it, but we'll just have to wait and see once the phone comes out. We have an all-glass design this time around, which is really cool because that means wireless charging could be implemented in the next iPhone. And in terms of colors that you can pick this phone up in, I'm assuming we're going to have the regular silver, gold, rose gold, matte black, and jet black colors that we have on the iPhone right now. But when I was picking up a prototype of this phone, I was also given a product red option. So maybe we're going to have a product red iPhone 8, whether it's at launch or a little later on. I don't really know. I also think a ceramic option would be cool, like the ceramic Apple Watch or just a white color. But of course, we don't know for sure on that yet. Taking a look at the camera on the back of this phone, it's now vertical, obviously. And it's a dual camera setup, the same one from the 7 Plus, so a regular camera and a telephoto camera. But the cool thing about this is it allegedly can shoot 4K video at 60 frames per second. So your smartphone right now can probably shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second. So 4K 60, the iPhone 8 would be the very first phone ever to shoot 4K at 60 frames per second, which would be pretty cool. So spec-wise with this phone, we're looking at the super fast quad-core Apple A11 chip with iOS 11 running on this phone, and we're gonna have much faster LTE bands, allowing up to 450 megabytes per second of download speeds. And in terms of pricing, it's going to be very expensive. So it'll come in two configurations, 128 gig and 256 gig. But the 128 gig phone is going to run you $1,100, and it's going to cost you an extra $100 if you want the 256 gigabyte configuration. So super, super expensive. Now what's cool is the iPhone 8 was supposedly delayed up until next year, but Tim Cook was actually asked what he thought the quarterly earnings would be for Q4, and he said really high numbers, which basically infers that a new product is going to be launched in Q4. So anytime between like September and December is when the iPhone 8 should come out. I'm hoping September. Now the weird thing is that I've been shopping for prototypes of this phone, and I'm only given the option to purchase an iPhone 8. But I can't find an iPhone 8 Plus. I have yet to see an iPhone 8 Plus prototype from anybody or a mock-up or anything. I've only seen one phone, just a regular sized iPhone 8 with the 5.8 inch screen. So maybe we're not going to have an iPhone 8 Plus, just a regular iPhone 8 this year, which I'm okay with. I think that'd be pretty cool to just have one iPhone instead of paying more money for a Plus model. But that's been it. Go and let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.